Unfortunately. All right, remembered. So unfortunately, this time didn't work out to come in person for a couple of reasons, but one of the things that I wanted to tell everybody is I know a lot of people on here donated for the meditation center to get an upgraded audio-visual system. And there's been a lot of delays for that, primarily because if you haven't read, there's a major computer chip shortage worldwide. And most of the software that we're going to be buying have computer chips. So we've been waiting for the install and for all the pieces and parts to come together. But it's really exciting because this group, I know there's a lot of people that are part of the study group for Brendan and that are not in Denver. And so one of the exciting things about the new AV system is that we will be able to there will be no delay between people that are in person versus those that are watching online. And as it stands right now, you know, if Brendan's teaching in person, there's a 30-second delay for those that are watching online. So it makes it really difficult with people's questions and answers and all that. So I think for the next 3 days and Brendan's teaching, the Zoom is fantastic because there can be back and forth really easily. And then in October, we've already set Brendan's dates for October. And so by the October, fingers crossed, all the computer chip shortages, or at least the delays for the project will be here. But there's been a lot of work going on in the background. We're running a bunch of new wires underneath the center floor in the shrine room. So it's a big project. We're knocking some holes in the walls to put up new cameras and change the sound system. So it's really exciting. So thank you all for the generosity to help make that happen. And then it was Julie's idea, which I think is a great idea. Julie asked for a little update on what Choje Rinpoche has been doing. And so most of you have been seeing him teach on Thursday nights every other week or so. Right now he's in California and he's been doing a lot of activities over in India, even though he's in California. But the activities are pretty awesome. So I just wanted to run through them real quickly. So one of them, there's a Padmasambhava sacred cave it's called Pokar Zone, but it's up in Ladakh in northern India. And Rinpoche just set up the construction of 50 prayer wheels. So there's going to be several billion mantras that are going to be up in this sacred cave area. And so he's got all the locals that are going up and doing ceremonies and practices. And he hopes that during this month, they'll all be installed. So I see a lot of people on here that I know have been to India before. And so by the next time that you go, you'll be able to go up and see all these prayer wheels that are up there. It's at like 15,000 feet up in the middle of the mountains. So it's not quite so simple as like just installing some prayer wheels at a meditation center. It involves, there's literally no roads there. So you have to hike in. And so it's a pretty amazing project. All the monks that are that are over 14 years old have now been vaccinated at Rinpoche's monastery. So he's had 81 monks that have been vaccinated. There's been no COVID since the beginning, which is awesome. And we'll hopefully keep it that way. But Rinpoche ended up paying for the vaccines because India was so slow to get them for free. So it's really great that everybody's there. He's got 1 Kempo, 3 Lopans, which are the equivalents of like a master's degree and bachelor's degree in philosophical studies that are teaching the monks. So, so that's happening. He's also, Rinpoche set up Swayambhunath cleaning. So there's 2 great stupas that are in Kathmandu. And one of them there's zero cleaning that had been done for years. And so Rinpoche is paying local people. There's 4 local cleaners that are going every morning to clean up. And the pandemic has really hurt. So Rinpoche's monastery up in northern India, the whole area really relies on tourism. And since the pandemic has been so dramatic, Rinpoche has set up a feeding program. So he's fed 1,000 families for people that used to make money during tourism. And now they literally have no money and no resources. So he's been doing that. He's been doing a bunch of fish liberation. And he's planning on coming back in August. So we don't have the dates yet, but he'll be coming back to the center soon and teaching. So without further ado, Brendan, take it away.
Thank you. So pull up the Refuge Prayer, Julie. So I'll just recite the Refuge Prayer, okay? In Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, we go for refuge unto fully enlightened by the power of generosity and other perfections. May we realize Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. I and all beings are primordially Buddha. Knowing this to be true, I rest in my true nature. So this evening, I thought if there's a lot of new people, I was going to ask the question just simply, why are you here? But I can ask that to everybody. It may seem self-evident, but maybe not. How many of you are really clear why you're here?
I have nowhere else to go, Brendan.
No, you have all the other, so many places to go. But is that where you really want to go? Are you interested in going all those places?
That's the thing, not yes and no. You know, I'm still in that zone of, you know, there's still distraction that draws me, but I think more and more, you know, just getting, you know, I guess tired of that.
Yeah, so you got to get tired and sick of that before you try to not go there again.
Right.
See? And there's one of the practices in Buddhism, like in Dzogchen, when you go from one extreme to the other, we automatically have a tendency to go back and forth. But when we take it in homeopathic doses, we're going to be going back and forth forever. So you're not, you won't really start to have deeper renunciation. So you got to get sick of it before you really don't want to go back.
My name is Nina Nadeau, and this is my first time here.
Yes?
And
Who's speaking?
over here, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Let me put speaker view. Sorry. Go ahead.
My name is Nina Nadeau, and it's my first time here.
Why isn't your picture coming up? You're the speaker.
I'm sorry, maybe I'm sitting too far back.
Oh, there it is. I see it now.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would like to be a little more still, and I'd like to know myself a little more. That's why I'm here.
Great reason. Yes. So that brings up the question. The people who've been coming here for so long, do you really know yourself? Are you really peaceful? What other better reason to be here? You know, instead of, you could be here because you're bored or you're just shopping around, you know. That means you're ready. You're ready to listen. You're not just ready to be fed. And I really appreciate people with that kind of intention coming. So you could ask me, why am I here?
May I ask, why are you here?
Good. Because I want to share what I have learned, what I have experienced. What's going on? The people coming on the screen, Julie, that's not the speaker. All right. So I'm here because I want to share, I want to connect. That's my life purpose. For me, there's no better to be really connected to somebody, to really share who I am. And of course, that's beyond words. And to be honest, this is how I entertain myself. So thank you for being here. So those of you who are new, there's supposed to be a meditation class, whatever you want to call it. So there's like 3 or 4 basic types of meditation. One is called resting meditation, being meditation. Another one is called concentrative meditation. Another one is called investigative and analytical meditation. So a lot of you have done these different meditation, but those of you who are new may not have. So we're going to do basically these 3 different types of meditation. We're going to start out with the one that seems to be the easiest. Just being meditation, resting meditation, relaxing meditation. It just depends where you're at, how you're going to access and receive this meditation. It can be from the very beginner to totally advanced. So those of you who are new, all you have to do is just simply rest. Just let yourself be. You remember Beatles' song, Let It Be? Just let everything be, just simply be. Also allow yourself just to be. But it works both ways. When you just simply allow yourself to be, you're automatically letting everything else just be. And vice versa. Just simply being can be the natural state. Just simply being whatever you're perceiving, feeling, and experiencing. Then perceiving, feeling, and experiencing can automatically start to become complete and perfect. So those of you who are starting out, we're not, when I say be, we don't have to try to continuously be. Just get the feel or the taste of just being as much as you can, as long as you can, then simply start over. Constantly refresh, start over. But that period where you can just be, you can start to automatically feel the peace and calmness of just being. So if you can just be, you don't have to be anything. Because being itself is totally complete and perfect. Know that the being is always being. You're being before you know that you're being. You don't have to know to be. So just being, like awareness or mind, is always there. The problem is we can't just be because we're so habituated and conditioned to constantly be this or that. We can't just simply be. That's the magic of being. That's the power of being. So when you just start to be, you automatically free yourself from all the things that you were being that you really didn't want to be. Being itself is the innate great perfection. See, if you can just be, it doesn't matter what you're being. when you can just be whatever you're being, you're automatically freed from what you're being. So if you can't just be, you become a slave to what you're being. So if the being is too easy for you or too difficult, then we can do the other meditation. Concentrative meditation, focusing meditation. So in this meditation, we just simply focus or be with an object. The problem is our mind is so distracted, it just can't stay in one place. That's why we don't feel or experience the peace and joy of mind, because mind is constantly going from this to that, being this or that. It has no chance to be itself. Itself is the true nature. Itself, mind itself, is peaceful, joyful, complete. When the mind can just start to be itself, stop being distracted to all the different things, that quality of the mind will start to self-manifest. You'll start to experience that automatically. So when you start to experience that, you're not making that. You're automatically creating the condition for it to self-manifest. So when you gain the power of concentration, you're automatically starting to gain the power of mind. You don't have to be a slave to everything that you perceive, feel, and experience. See, the being meditation and concentrated meditation actually is not that different in one way. Other ways it is. But look what's happening in concentrated meditation. We're just being one thing. They're not the same, but there's similarities. And the other meditation, the analytical investigative meditation, is while we're meditating, we can analyze, we can investigate, start to see what is happening. So we can make the adjustments while we're meditating. We can begin to clarify and find out how our mind works. We can begin to clarify what we perceive, what they are. And of course, our mind also. For those of you expert meditators, concentrative meditation, analytical meditation cannot take you all the way. But the being meditation can. So tell me in your own words, what do you see the difference? What works for you? Or none of it works for you?
You go to the bottom of your screen under reactions, there's a raise hand indicator, and we'll take the people if they want to speak. The first person can just dive in. Go ahead, Janet. And you need to unmute, please.
Thank you, Brendan. When you say being meditation can take you all the way, is that the fourth type of meditation, being meditation?
No, I don't know what it is, but I, from the masters and, what experience I have, yeah. So I don't know if it's the fourth or the fifth or the sixth. Okay, Janet.
Oh, well, I'm always listening for when they're numbering things. And you said resting, concentrated, then investigative and analytical. Are those
Yeah.
the same, the third one? And
Yeah.
then there's a missing fourth one that I didn't hear.
Which one?
You said there were 4 kinds of meditation.
No, I said 3.
You did. Okay,
Yeah.
then I'm corrected. Okay, thank you.
But we can make another one if you want.
No, it's fine.
Thanks, Janet.
Thank you, Brendan.
So which one is the easiest? See, it's probably different for different people. I'm curious.
Go ahead, Judy.
Well, I learned the shamatha with object, and it took a lot of energy to do, but it was definitely my small mind doing it.
Right.
I had a task to do, and I could figure it out because the directions are very clear, and whatever you come up with is going to be applauded as being right because it's a thing. It is. But
Mhm.
since I've been doing the being, it's effortless. So going into a state of relaxation, brings me out of words, out of tasks to do, out of stories to make up, and I'm just there. And what I'm discovering is that, well, let me just tell you a little story. This morning I was in that state of relaxation and open awareness, and my 75-pound labradoodle climbed up in my lap, and I was able to pat him, to feel him, and hold on to that relaxation inside. And it was the first time I've really experienced this. And it was this huge aha moment. And I've been sitting with it all day going, look at this. I can eat lunch and be in that relaxed state.
Mhm.
And so I like this a lot more because I don't have to work at it. I don't have to think at it. It's just there.
Yeah, just depends where you are, where the person is.
You can just carry it around. And
Yeah.
my analogy with it, the awareness this morning, was it's like the operating system in a computer. And everything out there are the applications. Now, the operating system can work without the applications, but the applications can't work without the operating system. So that freedom just to be
Yeah.
the operating system, it's so liberating, it's ridiculous, but it just happened this morning. So if I sound a little silly about it, that's where I am.
It's beyond all operating system.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. What does the word be tell you? It's not anything. It doesn't tell you shit. But it does convey. We feel when we're being. We feel. We experience. It can't be put in words. It can't be described. You remember, the true nature is incomprehensible, indescribable, inconceivable. Here it is. We just have to spend more time. As you spend more time, it itself will self-clarify. That's how it works. You just have to surrender to it, which means you just have to start being that. Being is kind of surrendering. In order to just be, you got to give up all the things that you're being. It's all the things that you're being prevents you from just being. I know the masters just, when they say, just be, it's so magical. because they have the power behind the words. They have to experience, they have the live experience, live power, where the words coming from. Pretty amazing. All right, anybody else?
Go ahead, Tim, unmute and ask.
Thank you. I have a hard time with the just being because I'm not sure that I'm doing it right.
Yeah,
With the other ones, I can keep track of them, and the other with this, I think I might.
that's a big difference.
Mhm.
You see, in the true nature of the mind, which is incomprehensible, inconceivable, you can't be clear like this. You're clear with concentrated meditation, analytical meditation, investigative meditation. You see that? It's more intuitive. We have to put ourselves out on a limb, you know? We have to take a chance. We have to go beyond our reference point. We have to start to go beyond what we're clear of, what we're comfortable with, what we're familiar with. Understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And we start out, you just do it. You just start out the best way you can. And there's no difference just between just being and just resting. Just start to spend time there. Just by doing that, it'll become clearer. You can't pre-clarify how it's going to be. And that's the mistake some of us make when we start out. We try to be clear before it's happened, which we can do with some other meditation. We can figure it out how it's going to happen. But in being meditation, you can't. You just have to take a chance. Put yourself out on a limb. But there's great benefit. But it can be very easy too. In a way, it's easy, but in a way, it's not so easy because we're not familiar. But if you can do it, it's so easy, it's too easy. In fact, that's why most people can't do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. So I feel pretty comfortable on a cushion, but when I'm lying in bed in the morning, I can lie in bed for a very long time, and I know that I'm not meditating then. So what is the difference? What am I doing differently on a cushion that I'm not doing when I wake up in the morning and just lie there? Because I kind of try to meditate a bit, but I know that just from a lack of feel and lack of visual stuff.
First of all, you're not used to it. You're not clear what the meditation is. See, in order to apply, integrate, we have to first get the experience, actual experience of meditation. Then you can start to apply. Once you start to become familiar with that just being, then you can lie in bed and you can do that. You just need to further clarify and stabilize in that before you can integrate it. That's how it works. So what did you feel when you were doing that meditation, just being?
Uh, I had a lot of discursive thoughts. It was like lying in bed in the morning,
Well, you're not used to it, that's why.
and I was looking at other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so with the second two meditations, it was much, I was
Easy,
more at home with those, and I knew where to go.
because you're more familiar with them. Yeah.
Mhm.
But try to do the third one. Just spend some time. It sounds like when I say just be, that you're just free to be anything and do anything, but it's not so. It's maybe, see, actually, it's more difficult to just be than to concentrate on something. But you understand what I'm saying. You can start to do it and you can start to feel the power of that. Just being. It's no different than just resting. You can just rest. Just resting, not resting in anything. Just simply resting. Just simply resting is just dropping, giving up everything. When you rest, you don't have to be anything or do anything. That's why we rest. We're tired from doing and being this or that. When we just rest, we just drop. So this is something new. But there's great power. And it's easier than you think it is.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Oh, Carl, go ahead.
Hi, hey Brendan.
Hi, Carl.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer two questions actually. Your first question, why are you here?
Yeah,
You always bring a little bit more clarity to the things I'm trying to do. So appreciate that. That's why I come. Second, I just wanted to say, sometimes my body or my little mind is just not quite in a state to do the being meditation.
mm-hmm.
That's when the other meditations are kind of tools to help get me
Right,
there.
exactly. Yeah,
So I
good,
just,
you got it.
Thank you.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. We can use the other meditation to a certain point, then you can drop. See? So we can do it that way. Because of mine, when we start to sit, mine is going, I don't know how many miles an hour, it's going here and there and there. And, you got to somehow slow the thing down. And it becomes easier to just be. It's very difficult when you're going 100 miles an hour here and there. Just all of a sudden change gears and be. So when you're going 100 miles an hour, you put it in neutral, you got to be going quite a while from the momentum. Yeah. That's why we have like the breathing before meditation and, other meditation. Yeah. Good. See, when we begin, we don't notice that how powerful that just being meditation can be. We think the powerful meditation is just intense concentration and focusing, but it's not so. It's deceptively powerful. So let's continue practicing. So let's do the meditation. Mind, just simply being mind. Without being anything. As I have said over and over, basically, this is the meditation that can help you to realize the nature of mind. Nature of mind is empty mind. Mind not as anything. So by just starting to do the meditation, mind just being mind, without it being anything, mind automatically starts to be mind and nothing else. Mind will start to become more mind. The nature of mind means, or simply, is the mind itself. Mind not as anything. This is how we can start to be the mind and not anything. By mind just simply being mind without it being anything. So this is how we start to meditate on mind. So when we start out, we take the experience of a mind that which we can feel, perceive, and experience. That's the object of meditation. We just be that, not anything else. What you perceive, feel, and experience to be mind, just be that. So first step is just simply find the mind through your own experience. So most of us in our whole life, we talk about mind as if we know exactly what the mind is. But here, we can start to really clarify experientially what the mind is simply by doing the practice. So does everybody know what the mind is? When I say mind, everybody's clear? Huh? Are you experientially clear what the mind is?
Aurelia?
Yes.
I couldn't find it. And so I kept looking and I thought, I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. And it kind of, I started just feeling lost and then sort of just slipped into just being. And
Right.
then a thought came like, oh, maybe it's just like awareness itself or something.
Well, it is, but you don't, you're not
I couldn't
directly
find it.
catching that. That's the first step. But here, what you need to do is find the experienceable mind.
Hmm.
At this stage, we're not looking for the mind directly. This is part of meditation that precedes that.
Okay.
So
So-
once you become stabilized, clarified in the mind, then we can look at the mind, and it's much easier to see that it is empty and not anything. But at this stage, it won't be very clear. It won't do much good. So right now, as I said, find the mind, experienceable mind, and just be that mind. And nothing else. You understand what I'm saying, Aurelia?
So in response to your question right now, it just sort of comes up as sort of the subtle sensations in my entire body. Is that what I be with?
That's part of the mind.
Okay.
See, this is how slippery the word mind is.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because everything that, nothing kind of matched whatever my impression is of mind. But
Yeah.
if you're saying experiencing, well, just sort of these subtle energy body sensations, sort of something like that.
That is mind. You remember, mind is everything.
Okay.
Yet itself is not anything.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So here, no, we're not finished.
Oh, okay.
See, this is the problem. Mind is more than one. Experiencing is mind. I want you to start to see that. Experiencer is mind. So if you're not sure what the mind is, how to work with the mind, all you have to do is just find the experiencer or the experiencing and just be that, and you're automatically being the mind. Okay?
Okay.
Got that, everybody?
Thank you.
Yeah. If you can just be the experiencing, that is mine too. So what is experiencer or the experiencing when it just experiences? It's not anything, right? But it's still experiencing. See, that's what the mind is. Mind is. Even though it's not anything, it is. We experience it. We don't experience it as anything. I mean, we experience it's not anything, but we still experience it, do we not? You cannot stop the experiencing of mind. You cannot stop the mind. It's impossible not to be mind. You believe me? You are that, whether you want to be that or not. We don't recognize that because we're constantly being something other than mind. Something other than mind is the object of mind, what the mind perceives, feels, and experiences. That's why we don't see the mind or experience the mind. Because we're lost in what the mind experiences. That's why we don't experience the mind. See that? We're lost in what the mind experiences, like perception, feeling, and experiencing, like the object. That's why we don't experience the mind. Mind is lost in what it's experiencing. Remember, the mind itself is not anything. It's just empty seeing, empty experiencing, empty feeling. It just sounds so simple, right? But you have to spend a lot of time to really clarify experientially. This type of meditation, you can't, it helps to do the analysis and investigation, but actually you have to clarify this experientially through your own experience, through trial and error, doing over and over, to refine it, to essentialize. This is how we practice, clarify the mind. And as the practice says, mind just being mind without being anything is the practice. Mind just being mind without being anything will gradually become the mind itself. Mind itself is the nature of mind. So this is the kind of a general blueprint or structure of practice of mind. Sounds pretty simple, uncomplicated, right? So that's good. But it's not so simple and easy to try to really realize that. We have to remember that. We have to keep that general structure to prevent us from going off track. We know the basic parameters of the practice. Because when we start to do this, it's easy to get lost in the detail and different experiences. Maybe for beginning people, I'm making this too complicated. But that doesn't matter. If you're getting it, you understand parts of it, that's what's important. You know, if you're getting something, that's what's important. So most of us can't totally get anyway until we're ready. That's just the way it is. Everybody just gets what they can. That's how it works. What you're ready for. So I wouldn't worry about what you're not getting. long as you're getting something. That's the important part. So if you're not getting anything, you need to look for something else. So in the beginning, we need something to work with. We need some clarity, what we're doing, how to do it. Even though it may not be easy, that's secondary. Main thing is we start to understand. We start to know how to proceed. So just keep on doing, let's keep on doing the practice. Mind, just simply being mind, that's all you have to do. Mind, just simply being mind without being anything. That when we start to do this practice, what you're going to experience is the mind wants to start to be something, wants to be this and that. It just doesn't want to be mine, because it's not used to that. So that's where the effort comes in, the discipline. Just simply find the experienceable mind, however you can find it. As I said, mind can be the experiencer, it can be the experiencing. So we can't switch constantly. Mind can be the experiencer, looker, the seer, and all of that. In the beginning, when we practice, just stick with one. See, find that one, like the experiencer or the experiencing is mind, and just stay with that. And that's the mind for you. And as you practice, you will see that that's none other than mind. It's not anything else. It's not the experiencer or the experiencing as you thought in the beginning. You will begin to see that is actually mind. It's not anything else. So just be the mind. That's all. Without it being anything. So in the beginning, the practice is preventing the mind from becoming something. So just relaxedly doing the practice. Mind, just being the mind without it being anything. You will start to become familiar experientially what it is like for the mind to just be mind. In the beginning, we have this conceptual idea or framework how to do it. But as we do it, we actually start to experience that. We actually start to be that. So you may ask the question at a certain point, why are we just doing this mind practice when there's so many other things? Anyway, that may seem like a legitimate question, but my answer to you is, everything comes through mind. Everything is contained within mind. All the positive qualities, all the things that we ever would dream of wanting or hoping to be is already within mind. So why should we look somewhere else? You don't know that. So you just have to take the word of people who have gone through the process. And you will start to experience some of the qualities as you do the practice. So you will start to prove to yourself through your own experience. That's why this is called the experiential lineage. Even though we employ, study, and analysis, but it's basically experiential. You know, the four immeasurables: immeasurable love, compassion, joy, equanimity. That's already within mind. When we can start to be the mind, realize the mind, those qualities automatically self-manifest. We can automatically realize the mind by simply starting to see that mind is empty. It is not anything. That's how we realize the nature of mind. Even though mind is not anything, we have to be the mind to be able to realize that. And in the beginning, we start out by experiencing the mind as subtle something, like the experiencer experiencing the seer. So if you can't just simply rest, then you can rest in mind. If you can't just simply be, then just be the mind. That will lead you to just being. Just being. Empty being is empty mind. So any questions or comments?
Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, Brendan, I just want to thank you because I understand now why when we do the meditation, the group meditation as we did at the retreat with you, and
What meditation?
the meditation, the refuge meditations that we did in the morning during
Right,
the,
right. Yeah.
and I kept hearing the that command, if you will, to rest, but with it came nothing to do, no place to be, and my mind, me, responds totally to it's like a lullaby. It just relaxes into just being nothing, and
No, it's not nothing.
yeah, but I mean, not.
Here, oh, stop for a second. I want to clarify. I clarified this over and over, and it's not so easy to be clear. But you have to start clarifying what this means. The difference between nothing and not a thing, they're not the same. You understand what I'm saying?
There's no distraction and no attraction in that state. Now, I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about.
Well, that's part of it.
Okay.
But I want you to experientially see the difference, what is meant when we say nothing and when we say not a thing. I don't want to, I gave a whole section of teaching. I'm not going to go into it now, but anyway. So I wanted to say by now, some of you are pretty sick of mine, right? But let me ask you, how can you be sick of mine when the mind is not anything whatsoever? That's an important point. Nothing and not a thing. Yeah, if you want further clarification from your people, you have to come back now. All right, any other questions or comments? So for the newer people, was this too difficult for you? Too complicated? Good. All right, we'll end here. By the power of this practice, may our real enemy, our own confusion and misdeeds from our ignorance be overcome and our true nature fully realized, so that we may free beings of miseries of delusions and afflictions and negative emotions, fear and anger, endless stormy waves, the ocean of samsara. May the pure and brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are fully illumined and awakened.
In the world in general,
Go ahead, go ahead.
in the world in general, and in this nation, may not even the names disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard. May virtuous qualities, merit, and prosperity greatly increase, and may continuous good fortune and sublime well-being perfectly arise. Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you.
It's always good to hear about the mind and to figure out that maybe the mind isn't the crazy lines that go through my mind, but that's something else vaster and more interesting ultimately than the crazy person that's in here. We have the retreat continuing this weekend. It starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and it continues on Saturday and Sunday. And the registration is on the PMC website. And the recordings will be posted soon after. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Night,
you,
everyone.
Brendan. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, everyone.